have noticed that my poems are kind of long. I mean, they're not long, but the explanation plus my opinion altogether gets really long. So this time I tried to make it a little bit more shorter, more condensed. Because oh my gosh, it's so long, and it's probably just gonna send me to sleep. Like I should just do these videos for like people have insomnia and they can't sleep. It's so long. I'm sorry about that, guys. But anyways, so let's start reading the poem. Do not go gentle into that good night by Dylan Thomas. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had forked no lightning, they did not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, unlearned, too late, they grieve it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men, near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. So, Dylan wrote this poem while his father was dying. And towards the last verse, we can tell that this was made for his father. So we do know that this poem revolves around death, and he does let us know that he believes that death is something you can't run away from. With the line, "Wise men at their end know dark is right." But then he says, "Do not go gentle into that good night." Also stating that even when people know this, they should fight for their lives, stretch it a little longer in a good connotation, meaning that even if it's scary or something unavoidable, you should fight towards your last breath, even if you're old. It doesn't matter. And then he gives us example about three types of people. We have wise men, good men, wild men, and grave men. So the wise men, line 4-6, realize that their words have not forked lightning, meaning that they haven't changed the world the way that they wanted to do so. So, like, good men are wise men are the people that are trying to make changes in the world, that have make marks in the world, yet they want to do even more. Now, wild men did whatever they thought they wanted. It was more in an immediate satisfaction sort of way. So they grieved it on its way, meaning that they want to make something more meaningful out of their lives, since they were just doing frivolous and selfish things. So like these two examples aside, the last one was the grave men, which if you need me to explain, grave men, I think he's talking about men or like people that are depressed or like sad and they don't notice all the beautiful things that life has to offer, and then they're blind towards it. They take all of their lives blindly, not seeing the light that can be throughout the life and all the beautiful things that you can see through life, and they just regret it. So this example leads us to understand that death is a wake-up call to understand that life, we shouldn't take it for granted, and most of us have. I feel like we feel strangers to death. We feel like, oh, that's never gonna happen to us, or like we don't take into account that literally we could die tomorrow, we could die in 10 minutes, we could die now. We never know when it's gonna come, and since we take it for granted, we don't do our best towards it. That could be a way of interpreting the poem. Now, because the last verse mentions his father, it might be a personal poem, but also because of this reason. He could have mentioned it earlier through the poem, but he didn't. until the end. So we think that he made this poem for everyone, for everyone to have their own interpretation and to be able to relate to it, and also for his father. So it might be a mixture of both. And a very interesting thing about this poem is that it's one of the most known Villanelle's poems. Like, I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's Villane. So these are like really strict formats. Apparently they're not really common in English, but it's really pretty. I do like the format itself. Now, my opinions is that, I mean, if we, let's say we read this poem like currently, the first thing that I can think of regarding death is COVID. In these past few years, how everyone felt so close to, oh my gosh, I could die if I get COVID. You know, I feel like at the beginning of the year it was even worse, and before I even got to my country, because when I first heard about it, I was back in Costa Rica. It seemed like way more worse than it actually was. I'm not saying that it's not terrible because it's horrible, but like I would see videos of people like convulsing, like literally, just it was insane, and everyone was so afraid. And then people just started being less and less afraid, which I don't think is any better. I mean, the reason why there's still cases is because people are like so reckless. I don't even want to mention all the things that like we know people have done on TikTok or YouTube just because they're Karens. Like, you know, I don't even want to get into that because we all know, but it's ridiculous and people take their life for granted. I feel like all of these people that just mentioned of are like the wild man category. They take life for granted, and just imagine just dying for making this really dumb TikTok. It's just ridiculous. I would certainly regret my life and knowing that I just died for something so meaningless and some likes and views. But this is the world we live in, right? And well, Dylan was really right about this part. So, also so unconsiderate about old man. Actually, old people, high risk people. I guess people don't care. I do honestly believe that people are inherently insanely selfish. But that's human nature, I guess, including that and lack of logic, common sense. It's sad. It's really sad. But I guess another example that I would say more in grave men would be hikikomori, or you know, like these people who are so introverted and I don't know, maybe traumatized, or I think there's like a phobia where you're literally scared of getting out of your home. And I feel like even some people have developed this after quarantine because, you know, you don't get out, you forget how to talk to people. It's so scary. Like, I even experienced this. I was scared of talking to people or getting close. Well, aside like obviously COVID, but like actually talking to them. And the first 4 months, like, I went to pay for our country club, right? And it was so like, it's so awkward just remembering I just got in with my I don't know what I'm doing face. At least I had a mask on, which made me like more calm because okay, they're not seeing my face. But I came in and then I was like, oh yeah, I have to pay for this. And obviously the lady was like, yeah, but like for what? I was like, oh yeah, I just have to pay for my mom. And she was like, okay, but who's your mom? And I was like, oh, it's blah 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 blah, and I just said her name, right? But it's like I forgot how to speak, you know, like, it's just ridiculous. But no, let's not stay in that state of fear. It's like one way or another you're gonna die eventually, and you don't want your last years to be just you being scared and all the things you missed out on. I met this girl. I think she's gonna know if like I'm talking about her, but this is another example that really makes me feel sad. Like, she wants to have a boyfriend, right? She's really young. She's around the age of 14 and 11. She wants to have a boyfriend. And she also came to this country. She's from a Latin country. And, I mean, a Hispanic country. She, obviously she's taking like classes online. And she wants to, she wants friends and all that. But, now she has the opportunity to go to a normal school because now classes are not online. Like, most of classes are not online. And she doesn't want to. But she somehow expects to get a boyfriend. And she's like so reluctant. And I'm just thinking, like, do you really want to be... I think she actually wanted to be homeschooled. She doesn't even want to be like studying online. And I was just thinking, like, do you really want to choose to be one of those like weird homeschool kids? Not to offend anybody, but every homeschool kid is weird. They're just weird, bro. And how are you supposed to meet like your boyfriend or your friends if you're just gonna be with your mom and your dad? Just, oh, bro, imagine you spending every single day with your parents and like your mom is teaching you. Oh my god, that's my number. Like, no, bro, like I almost went crazy in this quarantine. So please don't do that to yourself. Oh my gosh. And yeah, that's what I would say, like the two most known, because I don't feel like most people are like in the wise men category doing like insanely good things for humanity, because that's like the minority, I believe. I guess then we can also mention like people that have suicidal thoughts or that do commit this act, which is nothing to make fun of. I have personally felt this way. I don't really want to dig in too much into this topic because it doesn't specifically mention suicide, and I'm 110% sure that I'm gonna bring up a point about suicide at some point. So I don't want to talk about it too much, but you could say it does lead into one of these categories, and not being able to see the joy and all the good things that life can take. And it's not even sometimes it's not even like their fault. If not, I don't think anyone really wishes to die. It's just the things that are happening around you that you can't even control. But well, that's my opinion. I really like this poem. I really like the musicality, tonality of the poem. I've never heard of Villanelle poems, so mostly I've only read poems in Spanish like throughout my life. So obviously it's really new and really interesting. So anyways, I hope you like it. Remember to check out my Redbubble account or my Instagram account if you wish to support my art. Tell me your opinions about it. But yeah, thank you. I'll see you next time.